glories of the holy name. Number 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success. That is Krishna Prema. I once again welcome all of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So today we will be moving on to our next session, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. But before moving on to the next section, let's go on with the introduction with the assembled devotees here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mata Jai, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Arvindaksh Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksh Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji. This is Balavinda.
Hare Krishna, Balavrinda. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Balavrinda, for contributing your chanting today on the call, and very happy to receive you on the call today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashomati Priya Devidasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Priya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Ramya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. My Dandavat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Gurudev and Gauranga. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Sushmita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Is there anyone else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devidasi from Elkhorn.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karuna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all your services. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Ramanya Mataji. This is Kiran Goyal from Baltimore. Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. All glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kiran Goyal Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Anyone else who would like to introduce?
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, and all the glories to the assembled devotees. This is Manjuli Leela Devidasi from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Manjari Leela Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. So we'll move on to the recording. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I once again welcome all of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So today we will be moving on to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, which will be given by His Grace Krishna Dhan Prabhuji. So before moving on to the session, I would like to read the introduction about Prabhuji. So here goes introduction. His Grace Krishna Dhan Prabhuji is a senior brahmachari and a full-time preacher at ISKCON Nashik since 2008. He is presently the president of ISKCON Nashik and looks after youth preaching activities in Nashik. As a founder and director of Samruddhi School of Leadership, he has been stressing on how crucial it is to train and guide the teenagers. Yes. His recently published book, Get Set, Go Students Success Handbook, is highly acclaimed for its lucidity and a practical guide in Krishna consciousness. His motivational speaking has struck chords with many industrialists and also youth in bringing all to the platform of Krishna consciousness. His seminars and courses based on Vedic scripture have found a nick among corporates and colleges across Mumbai. He is also the committee member of Gopal Garden High School. Hare Krishna. So that is a brief introduction about Prabhuji. So Prabhuji is here to join. So I would like to, I request the devotees, if you want to introduce themselves, you can go ahead, or else we can do the chanting. Anyone wants to introduce themselves? So then we'll chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today we are very fortunate to have you on the call to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 7, Chapter 8 and Text 43. Dear devotees, I once again welcome all of you to this session, which will be given by His Grace, Krishna Dhan Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, I'd like to welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam. We are discussing from 7th Canto Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 8 and text number 43. Shri Rushaya Uchuho Tvam Nastapah Paramatha Yadatma Tejo Yenedam Adi Purushatmagatam Sasartha Tadvipraluptam Amunadya Sharanyapala Raksha Gruhita Vapusha Punaranvamam Sthaha. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. All the saintly persons present offered their prayers in this way. O Lord, O Supreme Maintainer of those sheltered at your lotus feet, O original personality of Godhead, the process of austerity and penance in which you instructed us before is the spiritual power of your very self. It is by austerity that you create the material world which lies dormant within you. This austerity was almost stopped by the activities of this demon, but now, by yourself appearing in the form of Narsimhadev, which is meant just to give us protection, and by killing this demon, you have again approved the process of austerity. What happened? Purport. The living entity is wandering within the jurisdiction of 84 lakh species of life, get the opportunity for self-realization in this human form, and gradually in such other elevated forms as those of demigods, kinnaras and charanas, as will be described below. In the higher statuses of life, beginning from human life, the main duty is tapasya or austerity. As Rishabhadev advised his sons, Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyet. To rectify our material existence, austerity or tapasya is absolutely necessary. However, when people in general come under the control of a demon or a demoniac ruling power, they forget this process of tapasya and gradually also become demoniac. All the saintly persons who were generally engaged in austerity felt relieved when Hiranyakashipu was killed by the Lord in the form of Narasimhadev. They realized that the original instruction concerning human life, that it is meant for tapasya, for self-realization, was reaffirmed by Lord when he killed Hiranyakashipu. Hare Krishna. So today we are on Srimad Bhagavatam, and what we are describing is Lord Narasimhadev has appeared and Lord has killed Hiranyakashipu. And after the Lord killed the Hiranyakashipu, then various demigods, whoever were observing the battle actually, they came forward and started offering prayers to the Lord, because we know that why the Lord appears. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Lord appears for these three reasons. So here also Paritranaya sadhunam and vinashaya cha dushkritam has happened. Lord appeared for the protection of Prahlad and for deliverance of Hiranyakashipu by killing him, obviously. So when the Lord appears, in fact, before even the Lord appears, demigods and all these sages and everyone start offering prayers to the Lord. Like in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, before the Lord even appeared, when the Lord is in the womb, there are prayers offered by the demigods to the Lord in the womb. If you read 10th canto, 2nd chapter of Bhagavatam, you will have prayers, Garbhastuti, they're called as. So now here, the Lord is not only in the Garbha, because there are no chance, right? Hiranyakashipu was directly, fully blown Narasimha, half lion and half man, directly appeared from the pillar. So when he appeared and did the function of killing the Hiranyakashipu, immediately all the assembly of the Devatas, they came forward, and one by one, they started offering obeisances to Narasimhadev, started offering prayers to him. So from 2-3 verses back only we have started these prayers, and everyone will offer prayers. Everyone, Lord Shiva will offer prayer, Indra has already offered prayer, sages will offer, and Kinnara, Charanas, all of them will offer prayers, but the Lord is not satisfied by those prayers. So this is how the 8th chapter will complete, and in the 9th chapter, then Prahlad Maharaj, they will see that the Lord is not still pacified by their prayers. Then they will request Lakshmi ji, but the Lakshmi also is unable to recognize the form of the Lord. And then they will request Prahlad, and then the Prahlad will offer his prayers in the 9th chapter. And consequently, in the 10th chapter, the Lord will be pacified. So this is the flow, what we are discussing. So in today's verse, actually, and all these prayers, all these devatas are offering prayers to the Lord. The function is already fulfilled, the killing of Hiranyakashipu. So all these devatas, they are offering prayers with which is concerned to them, which was the point of concern for them. Like Indra said, he had conquered the heavenly planets and we were out of residence. So by killing him, you have given back our place of residence. Like other devatas, they will pray that he had stopped this process of pindadan, the pitrus, they will pray like this, that he has stopped the process of pindadan. But now you have killed him, the process will be revived again. Some other devatas will pray, he has stopped the method of sacrifice, but now you have killed him, the sacrifices will again begin. So like that, what we are discussing today, today's verse for discussion is verse number 43, in which Rishayaha Uchuho, means all the sages all together, they are offering the prayers. So what are these sages they are saying? They are saying that the aim of human form of life is basically to perform austerity and purify one's existence. And when Hiranyakashipu was in ruling, he stopped this process of austerity. And now because you have killed him by your form of Narsimhadev, now we will again be free to perform our austerities. So that is what they are offering their prayers here in the verse 43. Now, they are also saying that what you have instructed us before. So the sages were already instructed by the Lord in the austerity, that perform austerity. Basically, the Lord has instructed in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 3 activities which are not supposed to be stopped. 18th chapter, verse number 5, Lord says this, Yajna dana tapah karma na tyajyam karyameva tat yajnyo danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. What the Lord says, Yajna dana tapah karma na tyajyam karyameva tat. One should never give up these 3 activities, Yajna, Dan and Tap. Why? Because Yajna, Dana, Tapaschaiva, Pavanani, Manishinam. Even the great souls are purified by these 3 activities, Yajna, Dan and Tap. So these 3 things are very essential for everyone, and one should never give up these 3. Yajna, Dan, Tap. Yajna means sacrifice, Dan means charity, and Tapa means austerity. Now, even if you see these 3 things, actually, they are of increasing horizon. So it begins with tapa, then later on dana, and later on yajna. So there is a hierarchy happening in these 3 things, and then they cover more horizon as they are progressing. So it begins with tapa or austerity. Basically, it means sense control. Controlling one's senses, that is tapasya. Controlling one's own mind, that is also tapasya. So shama, dama, they all come under the category of tapa, that is tapasya. So controlling the senses. Now, I have controlled my senses and I have purified my existence because of austerity. Then there is next circle of next sphere, that is dana. So dana means I give charity to others. It means I express my gratitude to the society in which I live. So in Sanskrit, there is a term called as samarasata. Samarasata. So samarasata means in English equivalent, we can say that, harmony or coordination. And so this is second level. Dan means I am living in harmony with others and I help others also grow. And third is yajna. So it goes one level beyond and it goes up to srushti, that is creation. Srushti samarasata. So basically, srushti samarasata means in harmony with the nature, in harmony with the devatas. Therefore, in third chapter of Gita, Lord Krishna talks about yajna. And what sort of yajna? Devan bhavayatane na te deva bhavayantu vah parasparam bhavayantah shreyah paramavapsyatha. that live in harmony with the devatas by performing yajna. So basically, our Vedic life, or these three things what Krishna is asking to never give up, it means basically we are asked to live in harmony. So by tapasya, we live in harmony with our body. By dhan, charity, we live in harmony with the society. And by third thing, yajna, sacrifice, we live in harmony with entire creation, or we live in harmony with devatas. So basically, this is a harmonious life, and harmonious life is always a happy life. So therefore, Krishna is asking in 18th chapter of Gita to not give up these three things. Basically, it means to not give up harmony, or to live in harmony with your own self, with the society at large, and with the devatas also. Very wonderfully, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. I'll read the purport as it is. In the higher statuses of life, beginning from the human life, the main duty is tapasya. So human life is also considered a higher status of life compared to animals and all that. Like obviously, human life is a higher life, and the main duty is tapasya or austerity. As Rishabdev advised, Rishabdev has advised that shloka, very famous shloka, 5.5.1. नायम देहो देह भाजाम नृलोके कष्टान कामान अर्हते विडभुजाम ये तपो दिव्यम पुत्रकाये न सत्वम शुद्धेर यस्मात् ब्रह्म सौख्यम त्वनंतम. And Prabhupada says, to rectify the material existence, austerity is absolutely necessary. So to rectify or to purify the material existence, so entire material existence can be, Prabhupada says that it can be purified by this. So what Rishabdeva instructed his sons, this shloka, na ayam deha, this body, deha bhajam nurloke, which has been given to the human beings on this planet. Kastan kaman. Kaman means sense gratification. Kastan, which is obtained after a lot of difficulty. Na arhate. It means the body doesn't deserve the meager self or sense gratification which is available in this planet. Vidbhujamye, he says, that is available even to dogs and hogs, stool eaters, basically. Vidbhujam means those who are stool eaters. So even the stool eaters are also able to enjoy the life, or the sense gratification is available even to them. So the human form of life doesn't deserve that. It certainly deserves higher. And what is that? Tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shuddhet yasmat brahma saukhyam tanam. Do divya tapa. That divine austerity needs to be performed. By which what will happen? Shuddhet. You will become purified. And what will be the result of that? Brahma saukhyam tvanantam. You will get an unlimited bliss. The kind of higher happiness you will get by doing austerity and tapasya. So austerity is like tapas word. There is another word, tapana, tapa. So tap means fire. The fire burns. So austerity is also considered as a fire, and fire purifies. Like the sun god or the fire god, they always purify. Heat is also one of the quality of the sun, and it evaporates and purifies things. I still remember when there used to be some items or the clothes in the winter season, they used to stink, Then we used to put those cloths on the top of the terrace under sunlight in summer season. So then that stinking would go. So sun purifies, heat purifies, fire purifies, right? Like gold, the gold gold is put into fire and all those impurities are removed. So when the gold is in the fire, we have this term molten gold, So the gold is melted, the impurities are removed, and then the ornaments are made out of it. So fire purifies the gold. Similarly, this austerity is compared to a fire which purifies our material existence. Because what is the contamination? What is the contamination of the material world? I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, and I am the proprietor. These are the three contaminations of the material existence. Right? So how do we remove these three contaminations? Then I am not the controller, I am not the proprietor, and I am not the enjoyer, but Supreme Lord is. So when we understand that, and for that sake, we start performing austerity, we start giving up, and we act not for our own pleasure, but the pleasure of the Lord, then that is austerity for us. And therefore, when we are talking about these three things, again beginning with tapa, dhan, and yajna, so expanding the horizon. So tapa, basically, as I mentioned in the beginning, it is living in harmony with oneself. Dhan is in harmony with society, and yajna is in harmony with creation or demigods. So when we talk about purifying the existence, tapa is basically purifying your own self. That is tapa. Dhan is purifying the entire society, and yajna is purifying the entire creation. So that's how the purification happens. Like when we do tapa, then we certainly to some extent give up the desire to enjoy, right? Srila Prabhupada mentions for observing Ekadashi is also an austerity. So when we observe Ekadashi, actually we avoid food grains and we eat bare minimum, we chant more. Upavasa. Vasa means to stay, upa means near. So we stay near to the Lord on the Ekadashi day. So like that, we are purifying our existence and we try to be more Krishna conscious. So this is tapasya. So at least that controllership, proprietorship, and enjoyership, that is blocked or checked to some extent when we perform austerity. When we give charity, dhan, then we understand that I am not only the enjoyer of this, but I am supposed to give it to someone else also. I am not the proprietor of this. This does not belong entirely to me. Ishavastyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magridah kastas vidyanam. So I take my part and I share the other's part. I help others also to grow. So that is charity. And then lastly, yajna. Yajna means which we perform for the higher consciousness. That is for Devata's sake. And you must have seen that when we do yajna, we have a ladle. And with that ladle, we pour ghee into the fire of sacrifice. And we chant the mantra, idam brahmani, idam na mama. This belongs to the Supreme Self and not to me, na mama. So we are giving up our proprietorship over there. So when we do tapa, we give up our enjoyment attitude. When we give dana, then actually we are giving up our controllership. And when we perform yajna, then we give our proprietorship. And therefore Krishna asks us to not give up these three things, yajna, dana, tapa, so that we can give up our tendency to consider ourselves as enjoyer, proprietor, and controller of this world. So when we perform austerity, actually, therefore Prabhupada writes in the purport that to rectify our material existence, austerity is absolutely necessary. Prabhupada doesn't say necessary, it is absolutely necessary. Because this is tapo divyam. Because the Prabhupada quotes this apt shloka 551. Nurdeham, Nayam deha deha bhajam nurloke. Tapo divyam putraka yena satvam shuddhet. You become purified, shuddhi. So we are here in this world for purification only, and therefore austerity is the thing which purifies us. So therefore, and these sages, while offering prayers to the Lord, they also said that you created this world through austerity. Now, how does Lord created the world through austerity? If you go back in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma's birth is mentioned there. So, Lord Brahma, he took his birth from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, a lotus sprouted, and on the top of the lotus, Brahma was born. First living entity. Nothing is there. He is confused what to do. He goes within the stem of the lotus and he reaches the end, doesn't find anything, again comes on the top, and then he listens to these two words. What are these two words? Tapa. Two letters. Tapa. Tapa. And then he starts performing austerity. He meditated on the Lord and did austerity for 100 years. And then he was equipped with the necessary knowledge for creation, and then the creation began. And then he created the Manas Putras like Chatushkumar and all that. And then the Srishti. The ingredients of the Srishti were already created by the Lord. That is called as Sarga, primary creation. And what Brahma creates is called as Visarga, that is the secondary creation. Basically, the assembly of all those ingredients created by the Lord. And that's how the creation was done. So basically, Brahma gets the power to create this entire material world through austerity. And tapa or austerity is also the vibhuti of the Lord. In 7th chapter also, basically 10th chapter is Vibhuti Yoga. There are so many vibhutis of the Lord explained in the 10th chapter. But this vibhuti explanations begins in the 7th chapter only. 8, 9, 10, 11 verses, they talks about vibhuti. Rasohamapsi konteya prabhasmi shashi suryoho pranamah sarva vedeshu shabdah khe paurusham. Like that, so many vibhutis he talks about. And in the 9th shloka he says, tapaschasmi tapasvishu. Tapah cha asmi. I am that tapa. Tapasvishu, amongst those who are performing austerities. Tapasvi. So of the tapasvis, I am the tapa. So when we see someone performing some tapa or some austerity, that austerity is nothing but the representation of the Lord. That is how Lord considers austerity to be great, right? Like he says, Sthavaranam Himalaya in the 10th chapter. Of the all stable things, I am Himalaya. Pandavanam Dhananjaya. Of the all Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya. So when something is considered as Lord's vibhuti, it means that has to be great amongst all. And now here he says tapaschasmi tapasvishu, means tapa or the austerity of all those who are austere. I am that. It means Lord is giving again the stress. So there is a power in the tapa. Tapo bala, we say, right? In tapa, there is some bala. Therefore, they call it tapo bala. And the great example of tapo bala we can find in the example of Dadichi in 6th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Vritrasur is fighting with Devatas. It is very interesting if you read 6th canto. A lot of fight is described there, and also a lot of mistakes committed by Indra, offending Vaishnavas, neglecting the spiritual master, and even to the extent of killing, Vishwarup, the Brahman priest. So like that, everything, he first of all neglected his spiritual master Brihaspati, and then the downfall began. Then to gain power, he did yagya, and the son of Twashta Vishwarup was there, and he kills Vishwarup also, because Indra found that he is also offering some share to the demons. And then Twashta becomes angry, and then the Vishwarup, and then this Vritrasur is created, who is so very powerful that Devatas could not tolerate fighting with him in the battlefield. And then they approach Vishnu, that what to do, we are helpless. And then actually Vishnu tells them that there is a set, Dadhyancha, also known as Dadichi. This Dadichi has gained so much of power because of three things. Vidya, Vrata, Tapah, Saram, Gatram. His body is the essence of these three things. Vidya means knowledge, which is also power. Like when we used to go to school, every day we used to have slogans written on the blackboard. And one of the slogans I still remember, knowledge is power. So Dadichi has become powerful because of Vidya, first thing. Second is Vrata. And third is Tapa. Saram Gatram. His body is made up of these three, and therefore he has become so powerful that if ask for bones, and when you take his bones, make a weapon out of his bones, that will be called as Vajra, and with that Vajra kill Vritrasur, and same thing happens. Demigods, they go and they approach Dadichi. Dadichi first denies, then later on agrees, and he gives his own self. Basically, his bones were so powerful. Now, why his bones have become so powerful? Tell me. All other people on the planet, what about their existence? They don't have that much of power, and therefore their bodies are burned, but the bones are not burned. So what is done with the bones? Asti Visarjan, they call it. The bones are put into some holy river where they get dissolved. But why, when the persons are spiritually advanced, their body is preserved, and there is a concept of samadhi. So when some sannyasis, they give up their bodies, or pure devotees, they give up their bodies are not burned, but their bodies are preserved in the earth. And because their bodies have become purified, their bodies are more powerful, and so so powerful that even their bodies are like giving benedictions. As we say, lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hai. That lava matra sadhu sangha, if you associate with devotees, your life will be purified. That lava matra sadhu sangha is not only with the personal presence of the pure devotee, but even if the pure devotee is not existing on the planet and someone associates with the samadhi of the pure devotee for some time, then that association is also very helpful. So therefore, these samadhis are made, the bodies of the pure devotees are preserved because their bodies have become so powerful by the performance of devotional service that they can be of great help. They can give boons to those who associate with them. So therefore, Lord said that Vidya Vrata Tapah Sara Gatram, that his body, Dadichi's body has become so powerful that imagine the bones have become so powerful by performance of austerity, by knowledge, and by vratas, by so much of taking sankalpas and executing those vratas, that the demon Vritrasur, if you read in the Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, the description is such that when the Vritra, he would walk, he would trample on the demigods under his legs. His head was directly into the clouds, and he just threw one of the Gada. Indra threw his Gada, whirled his Gada and threw at the Vritrasur. Nothing happened. Vritrasur just catched hold of the Gada club and just threw it, hurled it at Airavat Indra, and the Airavat was 100 steps taken aback. That was the power. And this same Vritrasur was killed with the help of Vajra, which became the prominent weapon of Indra later. But the thing is, we are discussing the power of austerities, how much power it can give to a person. And if you know, from Srimad Bhagavatam itself, we have n number of examples of persons who, just by the performance of austerity, they pleased the Lord, and they were able to take darshan of the Lord, and so many things happened. Those who perform austerity. At this point of time, I'd like to just ask you and make a note. I can just share this whiteboard, and maybe we can just write some of the things, and what comes to your mind, that these persons performed austerities and they pleased the Lord. Can you give some examples? Someone of you.
Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj, very good. Anyone else?
Jad Bharat.
Brahma.
Brahmaji performed austerity, and because of that he got power to create. Jad Bharat also. We have from Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, sage Kardama Muni. He performed austerities and the Lord appeared in front of him, and that's how the marriage was arranged between Kardama and Devahuti. So whole description is there in Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto. If you go in 4th canto, we have Dhruva, and yes, I'm eager to listen from you.
Devaki and Vasudev in their past
Devaki and Vasudev in their past lives. Drona and Dhara. Drona and Dhara. Basically, very nice. From 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, King Parikshit inquires from Sukadeva Goswami, what type of austerities did they perform so that they got Krishna as their son? And then the story is narrated of Drona and Dhara, that how they were austere in their previous lives, they perform austerities, please the Lord, and they got the boon. Yes, anyone else?
Prabhuji, Prajapati, Daksh.
Yes. Prajapati Daksha also.
Aditi and Narad Muni also.
Narad Muni?
He also performed austerities.
Narad Muni also performed austerity. Yes.
Aditi.
Narada in his previous life, actually. Narada in his previous life, when he was a son of a maid servant, and then when he was serving the Bhaktivedantis for the 4 months, after that, when the Bhaktivedantis departed and when his mother also died, then he roamed around the planet on the holy places performing austerities. He meditated and the Lord appeared in front of him, and then Lord gave him the boon that now no more darshan, next life you will see me. So he became in the next life. So Narada in his previous life, he was austere. From Bhagavatam, we have Prachetas from the 4th canto. They did tapasya for 10,000 years, right? if you remember. So they did tapasya for 10,000 years and then they pleased the Lord and the Lord appeared. So thank you all very much for your kind contribution. So basically we see that all these great souls, even Sage Valmiki for that matter. Yeah. So even Sage Valmiki for that matter, even they also perform austerity. Even for that matter, demons also perform austerity to gain some power, right? We have the same example. We are discussing 7th canto, the Hiranyakashipu, Mr. Hiranyakashipu. And Ravana from Ramayana. They also, obviously, their austerities were in the mode of ignorance. Austerities also, if you read the 18th chapter of Gita, the austerities also are categorized in 3 modes, Sattva, Raja, and Tama. So these asuras, they are examples. Now,
give it to their.
You can please
Sorry,
unmute.
Prabhu. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
muted.
Yeah, you can mute now. I just thought of asking you to contribute so that your hearing also becomes dynamic and you can recollect other things. So these demons, they perform austerities, but that is always in the mode of ignorance, and we are not talking about that type of austerity, but we are talking about the austerity which is meant for the pleasure of the Lord, and which Dhruva and the Prachetas and Garda Muni and Drona and Dhara and Sage Valmiki, all these examples what we discussed. And Srila Prabhupada writes actually very beautifully that in Kali Yuga, the same result which is obtained in different yugas by performance of austerity, the same can be obtained by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and following the 4 regulative principles. And the very famous shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna also stresses this point in 8th chapter, the last shloka. Vedeshu yadneshu tapahashu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarva vidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Whatever the phala which is obtained by yajna, tap, dan, study of the Vedas, and performing auspicious activities, punya karma, pradishtam, atyeti tat sarva, you cross over all this when you become a devotee of the Lord. So, but that doesn't mean that devotee of the Lord, that doesn't perform austerity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach this principle of renunciation. Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga, Shiksharthameka Purusha Purana, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari Krupam Buddhiryastam Ham Prapadde. I bow down to that Lord Chaitanya who incarnated in the Lord, who Lord himself incarnated in this form to teach the world what Vairagya Vidya and Nija Bhakti Yoga, to teach what is renunciation and to teach devotion unto himself. Shikshartham, to teach this he appeared. So austerities have power content within them. It makes your body purified and it makes your mind controlled automatically. It helps in that also. So at this point of time, I'd like to just have a brief concluding words about the austerity what we are discussing. And basically, when the Vedic text and all this Bhagavad Gita what we discussed, Yajna Dhan Tapa should never be given up. And Prabhupada on one side said, you chant Hare Krishna, follow for regulative austerities perform. So what is the need of other austerities? Yeah, very true. But when we perform devotional service, and in devotional service also we can apply this principle of austerity and perform devotion. Now, for other ages, like Prabhupada mentions, Vishwamitra did tapasya for 60,000 years. It means that was Satya Yuga. That these were different yugas where the lifespan was more and the people would do. Now, Divya austerity, Divya tapasya. Tapo Divya means what? For a divine cause you do. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared for this purpose, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually he told Sanatana Goswami that these are these 5 limbs of devotional service. You just perform these, and Krishna Prem Janmaya Panchara Alpa Sangha. You can develop love of Krishna by just performing these 5 activities. What are these 5 activities? 5 potent limbs of devotional service. I remember once in our discussion only, I have taken this session, 5 limbs of devotional service. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavata, Shravan, Mathura Vasa, Srimurtira, Shraddhaya Sevan. These are the 5 limbs, 5 potent limbs of devotional service. Sadhu Sangha means association of devotees. Nama Kirtan, that means chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavata, Shravan. Third is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Fourth is Mathura Vas, staying in Dham. And fifth is Srimurtira Shraddhaya Sevan, faithfully worshipping the deities of the Lord. So all these 5 limbs of devotional service, we do it and we are supposed to do very nicely. So my understanding is when we perform all these 5 limbs, but when we include the element of austerity in these 5 limbs, how can we do that? How can we include the element of austerity in while performing all these 5 limbs? We are all performing these 5 limbs because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that these are the 5 limbs, we can get Krishna Prema by these. So my next couple of minutes, we are going to discuss how we are performing, we are sadhakas, we are performing devotional service. There is no need of performing austerity like, like the sages who used to do, in the summer season, surround yourself with fire, or in the winter, go down deep into the chilling cold water. No need of that. But how can we ourselves as a sadhaka in 21st century, how can we inculcate this spirit? How can we put in this austerity in these 5 elements? Is it possible to some extent, so that purification also happens and we are able to well perform these 5 limbs? So let us take one by one. So first is association of devotees. So in the association of devotees, when we stay in the association of devotees, obviously, what is austerity then? Austerity basically means to not give up association of devotees at any cost. Austerity means to tolerate the difference of opinions amongst the devotees. Obviously, there can be difference of opinions. Srila Prabhupada says there are difference of opinions even in the spiritual world. Radharani thinks I'll give pleasure to Krishna this way, and some other Chandravali thinks I'll give pleasure to Krishna this way, and their opinions are different. But the central theme is pleasure of Krishna. So we can be together in the association of devotees for the pleasure of the Lord, and therefore, if you see Prachetas in the 4th canto, 30th chapter, Prachetas, I mentioned their examples in the austerities, that they did perform austerity for 10,000 years. My God, in the bygone ages, like Prachin Barhi, they were all sons of Prachin Barhi. Prachin Barhi sent them that before you get married, you perform austerities, that you'll get some power and then you can rule. So like Daksha also, he himself sent his thousands of sons, Haryashvas, Shaulashvas, they also perform austerities, so that by austerity you get power. So Prachetas pleased the Lord by their austerity, but when the Lord appeared in front of them, what did the Lord say? Varam Manidvam Bhadram Vo Yuyam Me Nrupa Nandanaha Sauhardena Pratak Dharmastustoham Sahrudenava. Why I am pleased with you is not because of your austerity. Varam Manidvam Bhadram Vo. Ask any benediction. I am in front of you to give you any kind of benediction you want. Nrupanandanaha. Oh, dear sons of your king. Sauhardena. Because of your friendly behavior. Tushtoham Sahrudenavaha. Because of the friendly dealings amongst you, I am pleased. So, when we are in the association of devotees, we are following that limb of devotional service. Can we also have this kind of a friendly atmosphere and a cooperative atmosphere, which was the last instruction of Srila Prabhupada, that cooperate with each other. So when we are not only cooperating, but we are developing a friendly dealings with all these devotees, giving up all our ego and giving up all the difference of opinions and working for the pleasure of the Lord, that is adding the element of austerity in the association of devotees. Second, chanting the holy names. We are describing these 5 elements, Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan. Second is chanting the holy names. So how can we add the element of austerity in the chanting of the holy names? we can get up early in the morning and chant, because that is, and salute to all of you devotees who every single day without fail you get up early, you chant, and then you assemble, you so that is an austerity, getting up early in the morning, sitting at one place and trying to be more attentive while chanting. This is austerity in chanting actually. So we are chanting also, and we are taking our chanting to the next level. We are adding the element of austerity and giving it some more power. So that is our austerity added into our japa. Now next is adding austerity in third element. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavata Shravan, Bhagavad Shravan. In our Bhagavatam study, in our Bhagavatam, what kind of austerity we can add in the reading or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam? We do it daily. Without fail, we spend some time with Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a very wonderful letter Srila Prabhupada has written to Bhargav in June 1972. I'll read you the letter. I'm requesting all my students to read my books very seriously every day without fail. In this way, your mind becomes absorbed at least 1 or 2 hours daily. So Srila Prabhupada has recommended that reading of Srila Prabhupada books. One time I have also heard, Srila Prabhupada say that, read my books for 3 hours and that is your austerity. So we add that element of austerity in our reading of books and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We do it daily. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We do it daily. Nityam is translated by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur as daily. We do it daily. So every day, every single day, without fail, I will read something. Without fail, I will hear something from Srimad Bhagavatam. Obviously, we are human beings. We have so many obligations. It may happen that we have to miss the class somehow or the other. But somehow or the other, we can take out some time and hear for 5 minutes. Our day is so hectic that we are unable to read something for some of the day. But at least before going to bed, I was just observing, today's day was a little hectic. And when I have to read something, then I just thought, there's not much time, but let me start reading. So I just started reading, and I read 1 shloka, 1 purport, 2 shlokas, 2 purport, and then saw the time. So just 3 minutes. So in just 3 minutes, I could complete 2 shlokas and 2 purports. So like that, not missing a single day is the kind of austerity which we add in our Bhagavatam, Shravana Bhagavatam study. And that will give us a great strength, dear devotees, that daily we are spending, because Bhagavatam is nothing but the form of the Lord. Krishna Swada Mopagate Dharma Jnana Adivisa Kalau Nashtadrusha Mesha Puranarka Vinodita. Lord has appeared in the form of Bhagavatam in this age of Kali. So when we spend time with Bhagavatam, actually we are spending time with the Lord. And that is the addition, adding the element of austerity in our Bhagavatam. And the fourth element is Dham Vas, Mathura Vasa. So how can we add this element of austerity into this Dham Vas? So at least that once in a year I'll go to some place of Dham and stay there. This we can add. Or Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport that my temples are non-different than Vaikuntha. Previously, in the 11th canto, purport Srila Prabhupada writes, there are 3 places to stay: Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. One who stays in jungles, that is forests, that is considered Sattva-guna. One who stays in cities, that is Rajoguna. One who stays in brothel and liquor houses, that is Tamoguna. But my temples are beyond all this, and they are equal to Vaikuntha. So at least spending a day in temple. Here we have brought a concept here in Nasik temple that spend a day with Krishna, that we give devotees a chance, 1 full day, 24 hours, like today 9 o'clock to tomorrow 9 o'clock. So 1 full day and 1 full night you get to stay in the temple. There is a separate flat dedicated for that cause, and throughout the day you can read, you can run services, and you can be absorbed. So 1 day stay in the temple. So like that, some commitment from our side that visiting temple, staying in Dham, basically some holy place, and go along with devotees. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, that I want to visit all the holy places which were visited by Lord Chaitanya in the association of devotees. Tesabasthana here Bhami Pranai Bhakata Sange. So in the association of devotees, we can certainly visit these dhams. And I know some devotees. I know 2-3 families that they have very meager earning, but they do saving for the entire year for this one cause. They say that for this, once in a year we have a commitment that we go to this holy dham, and we save for the entire year in the consciousness they were, and then whatever saving they have, they use their saving to go to dham, spend their yatra, basically go along with devotees, stay in dham for some time, gather those vibrations of this dham, experience the Lord in dham, and then they come back and they spend entire year here. They say we are not up, we can't afford to go to many places in a year, but at least like outside people, I have seen many people once in a year they have planned to go on a vacation, like vacation to various places to go and see, some places. Some people go to Dubai and some people go to Switzerland, like that, just exploring and seeing the material nature. But devotees, this is our additional element, austerity in the dhammas, that yes, we can go to a holy place and stay there for a week. If not to the very holy place, then at least once in a week I'll go to temple, stay there for 4 hours and come back. So doing satsang. So something like that. So that is adding the element of austerity in dhammas. And lastly, deity worship, Srimurtira Shraddhaya Sevan. Worship of the deities. So worship of the deities, that is the additional element of austerity in the worship of the deities, that we offer bhoga to the deities and then eat prasadam, and we do at least once in a day I'll stand before the deities and offer prayers to them. So something like that we need to take whatever as per our yathamati, yathashruti, yathashakti, that we need to take add some element of austerity in this element also. So because this austerity is essential, as we discussed previously, that what it does is it purifies us, and we are not meant to do austerity which were like those sages in Satya or Treta, but at least in Kali Yuga, in Sadhaka, because we know that Raghunath Das Goswami and all those Goswamis, they were in Kali Yuga only, and they did such lot of austerities. Actually, they are our ideals. Imagine our Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojan gurus. They are Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami, respectively. So observe their life. They lived all simple living, high thinking principles, and they lived austere life, setting examples for others to follow. And we are called as Rupanugas. So we also need to live life, but we cannot live life Goswamis. But okay, we are living in cities, we are living in 21st century. So what can we do? So I just thought of practically sharing some tips that we can add the element of austerity into these 5 potent limbs of devotional service, that is Sadhusanga, Namakirtan, Bhagavatam, Mathuravasa, and Srimurti Shraddhaya Seva. So if we add this, and as per our understanding, as per our capacity, so if we can add some of this element into this, then we can take our devotion certainly to a next level. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions or any
Hare
comments?
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class. Very nicely we explained how the devotional service which we are practicing should be carried on. And thank you for all the for the detailed explanation of tapasya and austerities and charity, how it has to be done. Thank you, Prabhu. So, devotees, now the forum is open for question and answer. If anyone has any questions or realizations, please raise your hand and go ahead. I could see Shivakumar Prabhuji raising his hand. Please go ahead, Prabhuji. Shivakumar Prabhu? Are you there? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It was muted. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranams, Prabhu. Prabhu, thank you for the insightful class, Prabhu. Very insightful on the topic of austerity and also on the primary limbs of devotional service. So one question, Prabhu, on the austerity. This is on the topic of austerity makes the heart hard, Prabhu. When I ask these questions or when I listen to the lectures, some of the lectures online, I keep hearing this point that if your objective of your austerity is not pleasure of Krishna, then there are chances that your heart becomes hard. I just wanted to understand, Prabhu, like sense control is one area that I think is an austerity, right, Prabhu, that we practice avoiding karmi food or mundane entertainments. Now, I don't understand when we say sense control, how do I make it for the pleasure of Krishna? It's just I am controlling my senses. Maybe it leads to the making the heart hard is what I feel also, Prabhu, personally from my experience. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts and advice on this topic.
Yeah, why? How our sense control is pleasure of for the pleasure of Krishna is because see, there are our five senses through which we are supposed to gather knowledge, but we exploit them by using them for enjoyment. Five senses: tongue, skin, nose, ears, and everything. So controlling these senses means we engage them in the service of the Lord and not for gratifying them. So we are not gratifying them. Like ears, how do I gratify my ears? By listening to some movie song, let us say. That is gratification. But now what I do, I use the same ears for hearing Hari Katha or hearing the Kirtan of the Lord. So that's how that is an austerity for the ear. And when I hear Hari Katha and when I hear the Kirtan, the Lord is going to be pleased. So that is my ear control. Getting the point? That is my controlling the ear. I'm not listening to this, but I'm choosing to listen to this because Krishna will be pleased by that, obviously. Because Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Serving the master of the senses through our senses is called as bhakti. So we are doing bhakti, and bhakti, one of the symptoms is Sri Krishna Karshini, that it attracts the mercy of the Lord. So that's how our sense control is for the pleasure of the Lord. And as the first you mentioned that it makes hard. So if it is done with the attitude of being a controller, see, basically I mentioned we have to give up these three propensities: enjoyer, proprietor, and controller. And when we do austerity for the purpose of enjoying, now what can be enjoyment? Enjoyment in the sense that getting appreciation from the devotees that he is such a austere devotee. Like the story of a milk drinking brahmachari in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You must have heard about it. There was a milk drinking brahmachari, and then Srivas Angan, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to do his kirtan, then he was hiding, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once while dancing, he was not getting ecstasy, and he said, "Is there someone who is not supposed to be here?" And then Shiva said, "No, there is no one." And then lastly he agreed, "Yes, there is someone, but he is not a sense gratifier. He is austere brahmachari who just drinks milk and sustains his life." Mahaprabhu then condemns, and he says, one cannot obtain Lord just by drinking milk or just by performing austerities. And then actually he was humble enough to admit. And then milk drinking brahmachari, and then he immediately started leaving, and then Mahaprabhu catch hold of him and showed his mercy because he was humble enough. So when we are humble enough and we are acting for the pleasure of the Lord, then our heart will not become hard because we have so many examples. Like Raghunath Das Goswami was so austere, but was he hard-hearted? Absolutely no. Because Bhava Bhakti, one of the symptoms of Bhava Bhakti is Hruday Masrunya Krit. It softens the heart. And when it softens the heart, then our heart becoming hard is not the question. Right?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare.
Thank you, Shiv.
Hare Krishna. Is there anyone else for the question? Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that question, and thank you so much for the answer. Yeah, so there is a question in the chat, Prabhuji. Radha Jyoti Mataji is asking. So, Prabhuji, could you correct me and help to understand. Does adding austerities mean improvised quality in all activities we do in devotion service?
Yes,
Yeah,
true.
in
True.
aspects of life too.
Yeah,
In all
yeah.
aspects
Very
of life.
we are basically performing austerity means improving them to some extent. Obviously, yes. And how do we improve? I just give some examples in terms of association and book reading. We improve, yeah.
Okay.
And last question.
Thank you. Yeah,
Karpagavali.
Karpagavali Mataji is there. Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. Once again, I'll unmute. Yeah. Unmute yourself, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Am I audible? Audible? Prabhuji, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful session. I have some doubts, Prabhuji. You told that Tadiji, Tadiji Muni is giving us the backbone and to make the Vajra, no, Prabhuji. He is donating himself all the bones to make the Vajra, to kill that Vrittasura. That time you told that all the austere people and all the saints, they will be buried themselves to preserve their bones and all. No, that you told that the power of Tadiji Muni bones is very different. You asked us why is the power in his bones is so much? Can you explain, Prabhuji?
Yeah,
Why
that was the
Tadiji Muni?
yuga. That was the yuga when the pran lived in bones. There are different yuga when the pran is at different places. So that was the yuga when the pran were in bones.
That's why only his bones were so strong.
Yeah. The bones of the Dadichi are so strong and so powerful. Yeah.
Another thing that we are in our this yuga, Kali Yuga. What are the simple austerities we can make to perfect our improve in our devotional service?
Symptoms of
austerities we can do to improve in your devotional service.
Yeah, that's what the last part of the class, if you see, those 5 limbs we practically discussed. And then how can we practically implement that austerity there? Actually, austerity need not be only, some people think that eating less, sleeping less is an austerity. But austerity Krishna has defined in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There are different austerities, austerities of mind, austerity of body, austerity of speech is there. 17th chapter, number 14, 15. If you read, we have not speaking the words which are agitating to others, that is also austerity. Mind, manaha prasadaha saumyatvam, that being satisfied in whatever condition you are in, that is austerity of the mind. So like that, we have to not only be austere about the body, but austerity of mind and speech also we need to consider. And that can be practically added in our lives as well. Prabhupada mentions beautifully in the purpose, you can read those 17th chapter, 14, 15, 16th verses.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. So
Thank you, Prabhu.
for giving me
Thank you so
opportunity
much.
to
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu, for again your valuable time and association, and very nice reply to all the queries which you made, and very nice class also. Thank you so much, and we want your association in future also. So with your permission, we'll end the call here, Prabhuji. So devotees, let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha
अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare